My name is Felicia Inman. My husband is Dustin Inman. He plays the bass on stage. I have been saved since I was 15 years old. I was saved at Cove Creek Baptist Church in Glencoe, Alabama, through the youth pastor there was Seth Coleman at the time. So I've been a Christian ever since then. My story, I guess, is when I was younger, I didn't have a very good childhood. Both my parents were alcoholics. Everything we had or anything revolved around that. It took over their lives, you know. They weren't really apparent to us because they were so addicted to the alcohol, and it overwhelmed them. Because of the way my parents were and how they weren't able to provide for us, we had other people who would step in and they would care for us. You know, they would buy us clothing, they would make sure we had enough food. My Aunt Wanda, she actually, her and her husband go to church. Her husband is a pastor, and so they would always take us to church at a very young age. So I grew up sort of in church. I didn't have to go, but I went with them, you know, with all my cousins and stuff. So I grew up in church, but not because my parents took me there. So when I got a little older, I started going to a church with my friends, you know, Cove Creek Baptist, and there I got in with the youth group, and I was saved at 15, and it was, you know, it changed my life in a way to where I could look back and I could not have that hate in my heart towards my parents. Not saying that it hasn't been easy, or that it has been easy, but it's been hard, but it's something that I can pray about, and I can ask God to heal my heart from that, because I had a lot of anger in my heart, you know, growing up, from looking back and saying my parents were never there for me. You know, I didn't have a mom who would take me dress shopping for prom or whatever, and I didn't have a dad who would, you know, help me he wouldn't even help me buy anything for sports. I wanted to play sports. So looking back, you know, I know that's a little bit selfish, but it was something that I had to really work on. And so having God and Jesus in my heart, it sort of set me free from the anger
Amen.
that I had built up all my life from that. So, and it's something that I still continue to work on, because my mother is still an alcoholic, but it's something that I can look back today, and I can say I'm not bitter about it. So I feel like I need to share that story and let people see how it affects it from the other side, because you hear so much of the other side where it's the adults talking about they were saved from the alcoholism, but you never hear about how it affected the children, or even the friends and extended family members, how it affected them. And I'm here to tell you it affects them greatly. So, and how when you lose, you know, one parent, even though you weren't that close to them, it hurts. And then you lose the only person who really took up and raised you a lot, and that affects you greatly. And how by having God in my life, how I have been able to look to the future and know that I'm not alone. That because of all these things, I have been made stronger. And not for me, but for Him. I've been made stronger so that I can tell my testimony and where I came from for others to hear. And I love it, you know, and I know that because of my hard childhood and stuff, I have something to share with others who are going through that, so that they know too that there are other people out there who have been through this, and that they can to see, maybe they can see God through me and how He's worked in my life and how I have all these wonderful things in my life now to be thankful for, like my husband and my kids. And I'm able to afford to go back to school to do what I am truly called to do, and it wouldn't be possible without Him. Growing up, we didn't have a lot, so our family would contact our local fire station, and they would bring in gifts to us on Christmas, and we would be able to have at least something there. They would usually bring in clothes for us to wear, and some food, and a few toys here and there. And so for us, it really helped us to be able to see that there are people out there that really care, and they don't want us to go without. And even when our parents couldn't afford to get us those things, those people really stepped up and helped us do that, or helped my parents get those gifts for us. I love the Christmas house here. I love that they get these children in and they ask them specifically what they want, and then they ask families within the church to go and buy these gifts for these children so that they can have something to have on Christmas that they want, that they whether it's something that they want or actually really need, they have that, and it's not just the random pair of boots or something that they would actually enjoy. And so when they open that gift, it brightens their day. Not only are they getting something, and they're able to see that people care about them and stuff, and by getting them those things, it's the things that they actually really want, in life. And so it just makes them happy, and I love that. It's actually an awesome story, because one that I credit solely to God, because if I hadn't bumped into Candace Landers at the beach, we were actually staying at the same hotel condo area, and we were both at the pool, and she looked over at me and she said, "What are you reading?" And we got to talking from there, and we actually found out we both live in the same area of Huntsville area, and she told us about Lindsay Lane, where she was going to church, and we've actually been looking for a church home for a long time, and it just happened. It's something that I'd prayed about for a long time, and it just happened to fall into place, and I love it, because we came to visit, and it just really felt like we were meant to be here. I know that we'll continue to have those trials and tribulations, but I also know that I'll have Jesus walking beside me, and so when I have those hard times, that I can go and I can pray, and I can know that I'm not alone, that I'm not in this life alone, and I have someone there that can lift me up and carry me if need be, and it's just wonderful.